Yo, what is good? Episode 4. You and I are pissed. I don't know about anyone else, any of our listeners out there, but what's good, bro?
I'm going to start with letting the listeners know that I am in a black hoodie in the middle of summer to sulk. And I want to start a little different. All right, Dez. You know what I want to say? I want to say thank you, Clippers. Thank you. You know why?
Sons of bitches.
You know why I want to say thank you? You kind of humbled us a little bit, right? Like we were on a really high. We were Suns in 4. We had the broken nose game. We had the salsa dancing. We swept the MVP, yada, yada, yada. One thing the Clippers did is they brought us back to reality. They've kind of made it a series. And so I want to say thank you because good teams don't have the easiest route to a championship. Yeah. And last night just showed that this is damn well a series. We saw from games 1 and 2 that the Clippers don't go down easy. Like they make big shots. They've been pretty timely with how they respond within the game. And again, Ty Lue, incredible adjustments.
Yeah.
So let's start with giving some Clippers love before we really get into what made us mad. A few things I want to point out. They had way more energy just all the way overall. From game 3's start, they had just more energy. I was so annoyed watching Terrence Mann get to flex and pump up the crowd, and I was like, oh.
I was mad that he was even in the paint getting rebounds. I mean, that's even the putbacks pissed me off, but it's like, why is he getting rebounds right now in multiple occasions? Like, who's not boxing this man out?
He's not a big guy, and he's a rookie. Make him feel like a rookie in the playoffs. Don't let this guy
just the Desi shock, man. Like,
You know what play really sticks out when I think and reflect on the game is Paul George gets a layup. He's going left hand. He rims out and miss it. No, was it that?
Yeah.
No. Sorry. No, not that one. Not that one. Excuse me. It was Zubac. He goes and he's dunking the ball and he misses, right? And everyone
not only did he do that, but he traveled.
He missed,
bro.
But the Suns just stopped playing, like expecting a whistle call, and Terrence Mann right there and gets it. I was watching DeAndre Ayton trail, and he's played phenomenal this entire series.
Yeah.
But this play pissed me off. It was like, dude, I know you're a little gassed. You like energy was high from game 2, a lot of adrenaline. They probably had a lot kind of drained from them, right? Because that was an emotional game. But to see you trailing, he was running the whole time, and he just stopped when he saw Zubac like go for the dunk. And I guess he didn't anticipate a miss, but then Terrence Mann just cleans it up. And I was like, well, is that what I guess I was texting Neem. Shout out to Neem. Shout out to him doing his pod. We were texting during the game, and I said, yeah, I think it's moving on to game 4 time. And he was like, yep, let's just chalk it up. And you never want to be in that position as a fan, right, Dez?
Yeah. You know, at the same time, too, I mean, I told you this off air, but I had a lot of parenting shit to do last night. So I recorded it and watched like probably up to the 3rd quarter last night and then watched the rest of the 4th quarter. I'm going to also say thank you to the Clippers, too, for giving us a shot in the mouth. And at the same time, like, the score did not reflect how bad they were beating us at every level of basketball, which is crazy to say out loud, right? I mean, I don't even think the difference got above 15. It was usually 8, 10, 11, and then we go back, and we're just playing awful. I think Mark Breen had said that we shot like 35% from field goal, something ridiculous like that. And I was like, well, we've been shooting 50s game 1 and 2. It makes sense that if they and shout out Ty Lue too for some of the modifications as well. I mean,
the fact that he's bringing in Terrence Mann and the Pat Bev adjustment. Okay, so let's give Pat Bev some flowers, right? He plays phenomenal defense. He's in Booker's. I guess he's in his head. I don't know what you want to call it. He is showcasing some of the inconsistency in Booker's offensive game. Just the way he's playing defense now, he's bodying him up. But let's take a step back. Like, first of all, Booker is playing with a broken freaking nose. Yeah. He's never had to play with the face mask. Yes, to all the listeners, I'm about to make some excuses. So just tune in. This is the homer piece of my defense for Booker. I'm going to come to my man's side and give him a little bit of leeway.
Yeah.
Pat Bev is playing great defense. Yes. Does he get away with a lot of physical contact? Yes.
100%. Yeah.
Does he also kind of get away with a lot of things that other players might get, really quickly called a T or kind of a warning for because he chirps the whole game? I think yes. Those things do play a factor in the fact that let's not forget he headbutt Devin Booker and it was a common foul.
Yeah.
My man is playing with a broken nose. He's playing with a face mask. I know he said, "Oh, all that matters is if I could see the basket." Yesterday when they asked him about the face mask. It doesn't matter, man. Like, you've never played with a face mask. Like, of course he's going to say, what do you expect him to say? Do you want him to say, I'm not sure how the game's going to go. I've never played with a face mask. Like, he's not going to give you that leg up in a mental battle in game 3 of a playoff series.
He's not. And, you know, I don't know about you, but just kind of like taking a step back. If anything, when I used to play was off, like I remember I would try to wear headbands. I'm like, nah, fuck this. I hate this.
I hate it.
Like different undershirts. Like
I played with a finger band. I used to put the little Nike finger band on. That was so cool. That thing was garbage. It ruined all my shots, man. Why I suck at shooting today.
Right? Yo, even just like my ring, like sometimes the ball will hit it and I'm like, I need to take this thing off. So I mean, I can imagine wearing something like that. Of course, he's like, hey, all I need to do is see the basket. But also, I mean, your rhythm's a little bit off. I mean, that's the homer piece in us all. And at the same time, what really got me, because he's playing that type of D pretty much from that like 3/4 court, right? He's picking him up. He's all over him. Who's willing to set a shoulder numbing pick on this dude? Like lay him out.
Not to hurt him, but like to send a message. Like obviously not no malicious intent, but Jay Crowder, we've talked about you for a few pods now. Like this is your time. You have not played well. Jay Crowder was like single digit scoring last game. Again, last night, single digit scoring. He really didn't have a big effect outside of fouling out. And I know he's got a tough task in guarding Paul George, but this is the time where you set that screen, let him run into you, and it's like, yo, leave my man alone. Like give my man a little leeway because I'm setting these screens all night. Or Torrey Craig, come in, man. Like, what are you, Dario Saric, man? You're a big dude. Set that hard screen. Let him run into you a little bit, you know? If you get called a T, you get called like a flagrant, whatever, man.
Whatever. Because I think there's that piece too. And I think another piece that I hate flops. But I think there's another piece with someone who's playing as aggressive. You got to do what CP3 does really well for the refs. Like he sells most calls. And so if he got him cross body 2 or 3 times, he does that again, dude. You gotta do something. There's so many things last night. Looking at Pat Bev, like, all right, cool, man. You are really, really good on the defensive end. And a lot of these plays are borderline like fouls.
Every time. Devin Booker today, actually, I just listened to a quick interview, was like, we know why he's out there. Like he's doing his job. He's only out there to frustrate Booker, and he doesn't care if he fouls out. But you brought up CP3, and actually a great segue is how mad I am at CP3 for 2 things. And I see the frustration in your face. And, what's crazy and ironic is we wanted him back so bad. And last night just showed that he had 11 days off. The pace of the game. He's coming
back from COVID, dude.
He's coming back from COVID. Like, not to make excuses, but let's be real here. He hasn't played with the squad in 11 days. It makes a big difference. Like, you haven't even been at practice. So the pace of the game last night was way different than when we saw it with campaign. And more so importantly, because I think Chris was still kind of doing his thing and feeling the game out. But what annoyed me the most was towards in the 3rd quarter and 4th quarter, he started doing a little bit of hero ball / trying to draw fouls, and they weren't happening. Like there was a three that he made where Luke Kennard closed out and like landed in him, and he fell, but like maybe he didn't need to fall. He was trying to sell fouls and they weren't getting it. And then Zubac would switch on him. And he kept doing the sidestep 3 and he's clanking on. Like, why aren't you going to the bucket and facilitating back to DeAndre Ayton, who started the game, like, I want to say like 5 for 5 really or 6 for 6 or something. Like he's had like crazy. 10, 12 points in the whole second quarter. He didn't touch the ball. Reminiscent to Arizona, 11 minutes, Lauri Markkanen. Hello, Sean Miller moment of the fucking game. Like, is this just an Arizona thing? Like, what? We don't go to bigs when they're playing well? What's up, man?
No, that's what we do. It's so funny too, because my brothers are making fun of, shout out to you all. They love the pod. They're like, how are you not going to talk shit about this team? You've been doing that for the past 10 years. And I'm like, you know what? There's an aspect of Arizona sports that sometimes you're like, this is why we get made fun of.
That's
you just make decisions that it doesn't make any sense. Like you're not making decisions to compete or to win. Like it's a mindset thing, man. It's crazy. Even just seeing that was so freaking frustrating. another piece here too that I thought, and I kind of want to touch on the COVID piece. We're still researching the impact of COVID post, especially in elite level athletes. I mean, there's a reason why they're doing studies on studies on cardio work and cardiovascular and everything else, especially with our football players, because we don't know the implications of what happens post COVID. I mean, you're there, you're no longer contagious or can spread it, but that doesn't mean that your lungs, your body's ability to transport oxygen, which is everything that basketball is, right? And all of CP3's shots were short. Yes, he had 11 days off. And there's also a part of me that's like, can he facilitate the type of work, or do we need to get him in off, like running off sixth man here? Because Cam did us really well.
At the same time, Cam rolled his ankle 4 minutes in. So huge. So
there
you go. To everyone that had said, oh, Suns got an easy road. Suns don't have to deal with injuries, yada yada. Well, there you go. We got our injury. Are you happy? Like we had our injury again last game with Devin have a broken nose. Another thing I want to bring up with you, Dez, because we're talking about health and COVID. Two things. One, like you said, we don't know what happens. Like Jason Tatum is a pure example of he didn't play really good basketball for a whole month post-COVID. Like he really took a long time to come back to form, and we didn't really see a lot of it until the playoffs. Another thing is Devin Booker broke his nose. Like he's not breathing the same. Of course he's going to get tired during the game. Like you're not even able to breathe through your nose with a broken nose. Like you got mouth breathing, you got a mask that might fog up. Like these things do play. Like they seem so small, and we're average people. These are top elite athletes. Like they are used to kind of playing through pains and aches and stuff like that. But breathing,
they have. That's the thing though. Like most places will have someone either specializing in breathing techniques from a performance perspective, or they will actually bring someone in to help them. And everyone kind of
like that really happens.
That's real life.
I had no idea about that.
That's real life. Either the strength coaches are doing it, or they're doing this in mindfulness exercise with psych. Like there's something that they're learning breath work. And just for our listeners out there who are total novices in this area, from the standpoint, like most of us chest breathe, right? We mouth breathe. I think that's one thing that we all probably figured out with the start of COVID with wearing masks. Like, oh my God, let me get a breath mint. It's like, well, you shouldn't be mouth breathing anyway. You want to be breathing in through the nose and then out through the mouth, which gives us that big diaphragmatic breath, which facilitates oxygen to everywhere. That's the best, most effective breath. So if you see these athletes, especially in this case, if he can no longer do that, of course he's going to be fatigued. Of course, he's not going to play at an elite level. So again, we're being super homers, but this is a Suns podcast. I don't give a shit.
And the reason I bring that up, especially for these two, is not to be Mr. Stat Guy, but our guys combined. I just got to keep it going, man. It's a trend now.
Change the damn handle already.
All right. So CP3 and Booker, for those who don't know, combined for 10 for 40 last night. 10 for 40. So, like, to tell me that like that's not normal, and the circumstances both of those guys are going through are also not normal. So yes, there is a correlation in my opinion. And yes, we're being homers, and yes, we're going to defend it. But that's the perspective we have to give you. If you want to go hear the Clippers side of how they waxed us and played amazing basketball, go find a Clippers podcast, because you're not going to get it from here.
This ain't it.
Like one play that pissed me off was Reggie Jackson threw the ball out. I think it was third quarter again. Throws the ball out. His body language says it, and they call, oh, Clippers ball. I was like, all right, so that's the type of game. Like, okay, it is what it is. And the refs, I don't think were as bad as game 2. I think they let them play quite a bit, both sides. But I'm going to look up a stat here because I just really wanted to know this. And free throw discrepancy. Dez, what do you think it was? What do you think it was?
I think.
How many free throws do you think we shot?
I'm going to say it's below 20.
Okay, so the discrepancy is we shot 13 free throws. They shot 24. So that's 10. Okay. It's not super crazy. You know where that 10 difference came from?
In the paint?
Zubac!
Motherfucker.
Zubac got 10 free throws on his own. That man has a running stat. The Mismatch podcast from Kevin O'Connor and whatever his name is, Chris Byrne, they have a stat of like if Zubac plays more than 19 minutes, the Clippers have lost every game. He finally broke that trend last night, just like in game 2, where we broke the Scott Foster refereed games trend with CP3. So this series is going to be, a trend-breaking thing. But one trend, I hope that continues whatever you get off.
I got one.
Okay, all right. One thing I want to continue before I let Dez go, is I want us to suck in game 3s in LA if that means we win the series. Because one thing, I think you probably remember this too, is obviously we saw the Andre Drummond back down mocking Jay Crowder when LeBron, the little
game
shake.
3.
Cool.
Game 3, right?
It was game 3 in LA, and they thought they were about to run away with it. And I felt something a little reminiscent of that in this one because the Clippers finally got momentum. Paul George hit that half-court 3 with 1 second left to close the third. What did he go do?
Off the bank?
What did he go do? He started blowing kisses to the crowd. I was like, I think our guys will remember those kisses if we end up winning this series. And especially if we close out in LA in a game 6. Yeah. You know what's coming back? Yeah. Kisses to your crowd. You know who's probably going to do is probably Jay Crowder.
All of them.
So go ahead, man. I know you
I got 2 things.
Okay.
One, we can talk about this later, but I want to talk about Trae Young. I ate my words in the last pod, so I want to talk about that. All right.
Fine. Fair.
So let's talk shit about the Clippers real quick.
Okay. Easy.
Who is the hip hop artist equivalent to motherfucking Pat Bev? Go.
Hip hop artist equivalent to Pat Bev.
Yeah.
Wow. That is really tough, actually, because Pat Bev's not a great rapper, but he acts like he is on this elite level. Okay, so he's Tekashi69, maybe?
Oh, I think you got me. Oh my God.
Super loud, really not about that life, doesn't do as much as he thinks he does.
Gets people hyped, but you're not really hyped with him. You're just watching him be hyped because
But if you like him,
music.
You kind of roll with him. AKA nobody likes the Clippers except for Clippers fans, so they roll with him. Like if he wasn't on their squad, they would never like him. And Tekashi, if you really didn't back him, you weren't a stand for him. Come on, man. Yeah, absolutely. Tekashi 60. That's a Pat 69 over there. Tekashi Beverly, man. What's up? You thought you got me.
I thought I did. I think that was a very good one because when I came up with that, I was like, oh, first person that comes to mind.
Yeah, who do you got?
It was funny because about a month ago, I had someone in my cul-de-sac who was bumping Ja Rule, and my first thought was what a fucking wankster.
Nah, man, don't do that to Ja. Ja had a good run in the late 90s.
No, it's the same thing though. If you rode with him, then it's oh, Ja Rule is dope. But if you were someone who actually was on the right side of hip hop, a 50 or Eminem, you're oh, well, this dude's a freaking wankster. So yeah, it's freaking Pat Rule, right? I like Pat Bev69 better though.
Yeah, that's Tekashi Beverly over there.
God. Yeah. All right. So there's that. The second hate, for me at least, most hated person on that damn squad is PG, dude. All right. So who's the hip hop equivalent for him?
PG. Ooh, that one's actually kind of. I think that one feels more Ja Rule-esque.
You think so?
Yeah, it reminds me of or actually tying it back to the Ja Rule era. PG kind of could be in this era only, not the entire run of this artist. Just this one moment. Remember when 50 and Kanye had a beef?
When the albums are dropping? Yeah.
Yes, and they're whoever sells more, the other person got to retire. Yeah. I think 50 Cent PG is that. He's that. Because The Massacre was a good album. It was the second album. And PG is a good player, but it didn't.
So is PG in Indiana Get Rich or Die Trying?
Yes. And then you never see that. You're never going to see that again.
Yo, shout out to Ro for this idea.
This is great. And I can't wait to hear what he comes up with. But yeah, for us, man, I think for that moment, for right now, for the Clippers version of PG is Massacre 50 Cent only. Yeah. Not the entire 50 Cent run. Massacre 50 Cent only versus Kanye.
Yeah.
With the Suns being Kanye. So hopefully we win.
50 Cent just being all jacked in the...
Well, those huge stats, but still gets killed. Doesn't come up with finishing. A lot of things. I think the correlation's there. So for all our hip hop listeners, if you got a better analogy for those two players, run it in the comments, man. Let me hear it because I'd love to keep debating that one. That's fun.
Yeah. So there's that piece, right?
Cool.
So, all right, what you got?
No, I wanted to actually go to the Trae thing with you because if you didn't listen to our last pod, which you should go back and listen, I have receipts. I have receipts. I literally said, I said Giannis is going to have a great game. Trae is going to have a great game. The Hawks are going to steal game 1. And I said that on the precedence of I've seen them do it to everybody else. They went to New York, they did it. They freaking did it against who's last round? Slipping my mind. Who did they just beat in 7? Philly. They just did it to Philly. There we go. Yeah. So them going to someone else's stadium, they're not scared, man. They are. You know whose rap group really feels like they are them is the Migos. They feel like they're the Migos. Like they keep coming. It aligns. Ice Trae again. Like, come on, man. It feels right. So tell me what you liked from game 1 from Hawks.
So for me, like from a performance perspective, we talked about this during like our text message exchange, right? And I was like, the dude needs to put on some muscle. He definitely does. And at the same time, as I'm watching him, it's like, you know what? Like for the people out there who are like 6 foot and below, like me being 5'6", I'm really enjoying seeing him cook people. And that's exactly what he did last week. Cause there's 2 things here. So one, after I saw him cook everyone, and then I saw a freaking TikTok of them showing him when he was in high school and like everyone's chanting like overrated. And then they fast forward to the Garden and they're like, fuck you, Trae. Yeah, and so Trae. He's like,
he's built for it.
That's what I'm saying. Like he was looking people in the eyes and just like letting that sink in. And in most cases I would be like, all right, I'm going to ignore it. But he was like looking people in the eyes and smiling.
I think he uses it. Yeah, he bowed. Yeah, he did the same thing. And then game 1, he shimmied.
Yeah. Oh my God, he got Drew so bad with that too. Bad. I was like, dude.
You know what? I want to go back because you said he should put on weight, and I was like, nah, I don't think so. Like, I think he's good. I think people want to hear a little bit more about the science take that you have behind that. But let me give you the non-science piece for it, and then maybe you defend it or go against me for a second. Yeah. So 2 things I think about is he wants to stay lean and quick, and he hasn't needed to be big at all. And he just went against 2 of the league's best defenders in Thibault and Simmons. And now he's going against another quote unquote, everyone claims him to be the best on ball guard for defense, Drew Holiday. And Trae put up 48. So do you really think he needs 10 pounds of muscle? Like, is it that important to where it'll affect his game? Because 10 pounds to someone who hasn't ever put on 10 pounds before is a lot of weight. Like that light of a frame, like 10 pounds may slow you down. It may just change things. Your body has to adjust. Your mind has to adjust. That first step might not be as fast as you used to be. Like a lot of things. I'm a big guy, so I know I've fluctuated in weight before, and I'm moving slow. I can move quick. Like,
So that's a good question. So here's the differences between general pop, like what you and I are, versus elite level athletes. So when we think of 10 pounds, we think of 10 pounds on us, which when that does happen, usually that's going to come with some body fat. So to me, it makes a lot of sense where it's like, well, that's going to slow you down. With the right strength and conditioning program, which all of these guys have, along with working with the sports dietitian, that muscle is made through powerful single leg and obviously 2-leg powerful movements. So that lean muscle that's being gained, that's also power that's being gained on top of that. And the other thing we have to keep in mind too is like a lot of these guys that are very frail, we're looking at injury risk. And so there's a bunch that goes into just gaining weight because they have to teach them how to not only move with that body, but how to oxygenate it, how to get the endurance that you need. And so it's not losing a quick step. If anything, at times it's a more powerful step, especially with his body type. That's just my take on how I would help him if I was the sports dietitian for the Hawks.
Yeah. Well, so, okay, let's get a little more deep into that because I have a question for you then. If a guy like Trae, who does have a light frame, like even a guy on the Suns, to bring it just to include some Suns players, Mikal Bridges, freaking twig. And I don't think he's not strong, but he's a skinny guy.
Yeah.
Even Kevin Durant, right? Like these guys are just kind of built a certain way. How do you think they even put on that muscle? Like I know there's training and nutrition, but like, do you think they can do that in the off season? Because it takes time to put on muscle, right? Like, but
it does. So like the thing with basketball, because they're expending, like using so much energy, you have to replace that and give them more. So that's where your like calorie surplus comes into play. Okay. So let me kind of give you a little bit of an overview. So usually for a normal size Major League Baseball player, for someone who is trying to just navigate performance, right? Just performance, not trying to gain muscle, but making sure that nutrition and their strength and conditioning program is creating lean muscle. Usually ballpark, you're ranging those guys to be consuming anywhere from about 3,000 to maybe 3,500 calories a day, right?
Seems kind of low.
Yeah. So the normal person is consuming like 2,000.
Like 2,000. Yeah, of course.
Right. And again, this is an average. I mean, that's kind of why dietitians work specifically with people for their specific needs, but that's mostly the average. So if we look at a basketball player who is constantly training, constantly moving, we could be looking at an increase of anywhere from 5 to maybe even 6 if they're trying to gain weight at their energy level. So you have to be constantly eating. Yeah. And that journey has to become, it has to become personal for you.
Yeah.
Right. In this case, he's not being touched. So to me, it makes a lot of sense why most of the insight has been like, he doesn't need to do anything. Like he can't be touched until he is.
I was gonna say, I think you were thinking it from a long-term perspective.
Yeah.
It will take some time.
Longevity of career. Yes. Yeah.
A good example on the flip side of my own argument, who I was just thinking about, was Giannis. Like he came in the league skinny as hell, and now he's freaking jacked. And he honestly, he doesn't. Yeah, he's the Greek freak. He honestly, knock on wood, doesn't get hurt very often for as much as he bangs in the paint. He's on the floor and he's guarding guys.
He's doing the banging.
Hey, but sometimes when you do the banging, you kind of receive a little bit of pain yourself sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a pickup game yesterday. Not that anyone cares. Like first time on an indoor court for a long time.
Where'd you go?
Ooh, how'd I play? Played pretty well. We got the win. I think I gave him 7 points. So
hey, let's go.
I think we scored about 50 or around there. So
yeah,
I gave him about 7 points, got a couple boards, but I was thinking about it. I was like, man, these guys train all the time. And I don't train all the time for full court basketball. And I just felt the repercussions from game one. I'm thinking my emotions really aren't in this. Like, this is for fun and exercise. Like, imagine what they're going through in a Western and the Eastern Conference finals, and they're going 110%. And I'm thinking about, I played maybe 20 minutes, 25 minutes of hard basketball just because we have subs and stuff.
Yeah.
Looking at the minutes on some of these, they're playing 35, 38. I think we take for credit getting to see some of these guys, or we take for granted getting to see some of these guys play the entire game, these entire series and stuff. And it kind of goes back into we get to see it because one, luckily they're not injured, and two, I think they do take their nutrition and stuff very seriously during the season. At least, and some of them don't. Some of them are gifted. There's the Chad Ochocinco's of the world, but those are always the anomalies. Those aren't the norm, in my opinion. And I'm sure from your experience, you probably know that. So
no, 100%. Some players are going to take it way more seriously, and others are going to just purely depend on their talent. I think time will tell. With Trae, like I said, I'm looking at longevity of career. There's a reason why all of these guys late into their careers, their bodies look completely different than their first 5 years.
All I know is Trae is a superstar from what I've been seeing. And what I do know is game one for Milwaukee. They might as well call that Halloween night because Trick or Treat was out, man.
Oh, my God.
Dude, shout out to Roe because that was the best freaking nickname I've ever heard. And Mr. Trick was out, and Trick he was not treated, man.
You were getting no candy. You're getting a toothbrush tonight and an apple.
Yo,
good night.
I freaking got a pair of socks from him, man. Didn't even get no edibles, nothing. What was crazy was Drew bounced back amazingly, right? He had an awesome game. He was doing everything he was supposed to. Giannis did Giannis things. He almost ended with a triple-double. I think he was a rebound short. But freaking Milton, dude, you're supposed to be the second best player on your team. And you look like
some were saying first. Giannis was too. All
I know is Trae's team starting five has less talent than Giannis's team starting five, right? Trae, John Collins, great guys. Those are their two best players on the Hawks.
Yo, that one off the backboard was nasty.
That was so fun to watch. They're just fun to watch.
Yeah, that was
you,
nasty.
By the way, Dez Collins, you had a great game. John Collins played out of his mind. He had so much energy. He must have had that freaking Caesar salad that you keep speaking so highly of because my man was
post-game meal, man.
And everybody that listened gave me some good feedback. You are completely off with your freaking meal of the choice or choice of meal, whatever.
Why am I off?
Because no one's going to eat a damn salad after. A lot of people are like, yo,
hold
nachos,
on. I said a salad with.
Nah.
Get out of here.
Everybody
fixated on the salad, dude.
Everybody heard salad and they're like, Desi's an idiot, man. He's trying to sell us some freaking nutritional package over here on the side.
We're like, I don't even know. You don't even know. You'd be happy with it. Shut your ass up.
Okay, so here I got a hip hop analogy for you, and I'm gonna put you on the spot here, and I just thought of it. So I'll give you time to consume this question and then give me an answer. But game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, what's the song analogy for you? Any song in hip hop that what's the analogy of that game for the Hawks perspective? Obviously, they came and stole one.
We're talking about the Hawks, not
the Hawks. We don't care about losers, including the Suns today. So we want to
changing the name of the podcast.
we want to give the Hawks their flowers. They showed up. They stole game 1. They did what they were supposed to do. And a cool thing I saw, I think today, was Nate McMillan, when he took over that team, he basically said, "Hey man, I'm gonna adjust myself to you." AKA you being Trae, and as long as you adjust yourself to me, basically I want a give and take relationship. I'm going to adjust how I coach for you as long as you kind of play to the style that I really want to give to you and let you kind of be successful with. So with all that in the know, Dez, what is a song analogy for how game 1 went for the Hawks?
All right, so it's Drake. So you're gonna have to help me with this because this is what came into my mind.
Okay.
I'm more than just an option. A.
Oh, on the that's the Thank Me Later out, or Thank Me Later.
Is it Take Care or Thank Me Later?
No, it's Thank Me Later. It's the second album. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm more than just an option. Hey. I like that. That's a good one.
Right. Yes. You've been sleeping on us, man. I'm more than just an option. All right, we're here.
I like that.
All right, what's yours?
Oh, I didn't have one, so
you're gonna have to bring.
Oh man, I don't
follow it.
I don't got one off the top of my head. You know what? Actually, I do have one. If I had to give you one, it's probably Jeezy put on. I put on, because every time Atlanta keeps putting on for their city, man, and people keep doubting, and Jeezy's that type of rapper where he always has been putting on for Atlanta, and he's never been in the upper echelon of the people that get talked about. He's kind of a mid-tier rapper for most casuals and even hip-hop heads. They would probably say he's a mid-tier rapper. But when he comes out with a banger like that, you got to put some respect on Jeezy's name. And it's kind of the same for Trae, man. He came out with a banger game 1, and you got to put some respect on his name. He's doing things that nobody in the playoffs and nobody in their first run at the playoffs has ever seen. A lot of times we give so much credit to guys that have gone through the playoffs and have their scars and their battle wounds and kind of, have learned and taken their L's, and now they are deserving of a win. He's not doing that. He's kind of doing the opposite. He's screw your L's. I've been kind of taking L's from the fans my whole life. Maybe y'all need to feel what I feel on the court, your fans want to boo me and say F you, cool, I'm going to just channel it into a win, and you can go home crying, and I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next round. And it's kind of cool to see because the Hawks were, again, never expected to be here.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So let's bring it back to the Suns real quick. Now I got an album analogy for game 3 for us.
Oh, okay.
Ready for this?
Yes.
All right. So Hove dropped Black Album in 2003.
Yep.
Right. For me, an amazing piece of art. So he said, I'm done. Right. I'm not coming back.
Right.
3 years later, he's coming back. It's all right, cool. He took some time off. Let's see what he drops. And then he drops freaking 2006 Kingdom Come that I thought was just a flop. It's none of the songs really showed out. I'm looking at the discography right now. Same thing. I mean, I like Beach Chair, but
that album as a whole, I've got one sound for it. I mean, in respect to Hove's catalog. In respect to Hove's catalog.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. So
is that CP3 for you right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is.
Or this team in general, yeah.
Yeah. So
you know what I would give that I would give our game 3 album analogy?
What?
Yay. You've done all this work. You're known as let's put the season in perspective. All right. The season is Kanye's work of art.
Yeah.
And then you show up the series has gone well. So you've given us like good albums through and through, and you've given us some mediocre albums, but we escaped with a win. So, we'll take it like, but then you drop Yay. You drop Yay.
I gave it 2 songs and I was like, I can't.
Yay is what happened last night. And it's more of a nay because we got a loss. So nay. Like, I don't know, man. I can't. I'm just, you know what? It just showed the Clippers had a lot more heart. Yeah. And I think we will bounce back. Okay. I really do. This team doesn't lose back-to-backs too often, and again, the Clippers do have that narrative of coming back from 0-2. Like, it's happened every series so far. So like, let's chop that narrative in half right now and let's steal one more game and take it back home and kind of go up 3-1 and maybe we can close out at home. But if not, it's okay. We have a whole series for a reason, right? Like, the best team will win. I really am hoping Campaign comes back. It was obvious how much. So they had their campaign in Terrence Mann. Like, he brought the right energy off the bench. He just did a lot of intangible things and stuff that won't show up on a box score. And Campaign does stuff that does show up on a box score, but he brings that energy too. Like, he brings kind of a swagger to that second unit where it's like, all right, maybe we're on and we're not the starters, but like, we're going to play like we know how to play. And he attacks aggressively. He gets into the paint. I really hope his ankle's okay, because otherwise, ugh. So
there isn't any other report on it, right? I mean, what I read this morning was like,
and I think they rested him for the rest of that half for that reason. Maybe he tweaked it to the point where they're like, just put it in a boot. We're going to need you for game. Like, we're going to need you for the rest of the series. It's more important to just kind of, heal up real quick if possible. Yeah. Dude, what do players eat to like reduce inflammation and kind of, is there anything you can do outside of like from a nutritional perspective to help with like, I rolled my ankle. Like, maybe I need to take down some swelling, or I have a stinger in my shoulder, something. Is there, like, obviously there's muscle exercises. I'm not an idiot. I understand that piece, but because their nutrition is just as important. Like, we're as we've gotten older, and I think as people have kind of adapted to this idea of gut health and stuff like that, like, people are realizing nutrition is everything. So it is. Yeah. If our top performers they take everything seriously because they have to, it's their job. Yeah. What are guys eating when they're in that situation? Or like, what have you seen? Because I know you dealt with injured players.
Yeah, exactly. Especially doing, I was the rehab pretty much dietitian with the Brewers. So like, what I try to do from an athlete's perspective is give them a little bit more, because to answer your question very, very short, like, there's no one thing, but there are some things that can slow the healing process. And so right off the bat, I'm like, hey, alcohol needs to take a back seat right now. We're going to put that aside. You can get twisted with champagne.
You shouldn't be drinking after an L anyways. I don't care, man.
Yeah. That's the first thing. The second thing we're looking at is things that have a great deal of added sugar. Right. So we're looking at like more highly processed foods. And so the candies, the cookies, it's like, look, I get it. Like, let's see if we can try to work on some solid nutrition. So sodas, stuff like that. So on the opposite end, it's more so about electrolytes, right? Beverages that have electrolytes. It's more about adding in those damn salads that you all love. Like, that's going to be a huge part.
So the salads are never leaving the pod, fellas and ladies.
Adding in more protein, right? Your cold water fish, like your salmon, things like that. Like, that's going to be super imperative during this process. So there's a bunch, especially on the athletic training side. I mean, they're going to be doing all that they need to try to heal that. But from a nutritional perspective, it's managing the healing process by making sure that you're getting adequate sleep. Nutrition is there. Hydration is there. It's usually that umbrella.
Cool. So with that said, I'd like to get a little more fun perspective from you. For those listening, I am taking a little bit of a mini vacation. I'm going to the Gambler's Paradise.
People want a pod.
I'm going to the Gambler's Paradise, so maybe I give you a live pod from the Gambler's Paradise. I'm going to Las Vegas. I haven't been in 4.5 years. It's been a while. Desi, do I bet on the Suns as soon as I land? Do I bet on the Hawks as soon as I land? What would you like to see from me 100. From a bettor's perspective? I mean, with
100 on each.
Everyone 100 on each?
100 on each.
For the pod? Hashtag for the pod. Okay. I will post a proof of me betting that.
Yeah.
If I do it. But I've been betting on FanDuel, and so annoyed. I literally do these dumb parlays every time. And every time I hit the parlay, except for one freaking thing. The last parlay I missed, it was like Bridges not scoring 18 or more.
Do you not watch ESPN's version of like the betting? What the hell is it called?
No, I don't.
Daily wager.
No, I don't.
They always talk about how parlays are like, it's stupid. Don't do it. The analytics are not there.
I told you I'm not the stat guy, so I'm rolling against those.
In Vegas, like whoever's running Vegas are like aliens and they know the future because
Vegas runs our world. I don't know if you knew that. They control this. If you guys think sports is a miracle and an anomaly and a bunch of awesome Vegas has got that all programmed.
They already know.
The other thing was last night I had a parlay and it hit everything except for DeAndre Ayton over 25. And I was like, it was like a $10 parlay. And I was like, if this hits, it'd be a $500 win that I would love to take with me to Vegas. Like that'd be fun to have just extra $500. So shout out to all our gambler friends, specifically Neem and Michael, man, y'all have put me on the track of just wanting to bet on games for the hell of it. It does make it more exciting. So if gambling is legal in your area, please be responsible. Throw like $1 on there for FanDuel, but have fun with it. And if it's not, then, no questions asked from here. I don't care, man.
You just don't do it.
So, I'll be in Vegas. I'll be watching the games in a new environment with some new friends who I have not gotten to watch basketball with. So that'll be fun. They're both Lakers fans. So they're going to come at my neck if we lose, but like they're not going to come too hard because it's the Clippers and they can't, get behind that too quickly. So one thing I will say is, again, thank you. Bringing it back full circle to the beginning of the pod. Thank you, Clippers fans. You know why? Because now all those fake fans are trying to get on the Suns bandwagon. They can hop off. They can. This is your stop. Go ahead and get off. Get off now. We really don't want you. We don't even really want you to watch our games anymore. Like, don't root for us.
And you're giving us a bad name. I am in fights with so many of my friends about the Suns right now because of you all. Okay.
So please,
if you weren't with us when we were like,
when Jay Triano and John Hornacek was our coach and freaking, what's the point guard? Eddie Watson, Earl Watson was our coach. If you weren't there for those games, please stop.
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, just stop. Just enjoy enjoy playoff basketball. If you want to root for the Suns, that's fine. Do it in silence. Don't be vocal about your rooting for the Suns.
Yeah, take off your shirt. I don't want your shirt on. You can just watch basketball. You can wear a neutral color. Here, I'll tell you what. From the pod, we'll give you permission. You can wear black. All right?
You can wear black. There you go. In support of the Clippers.
All right, so we're running on 42 minutes in the pod. I got a question for you.
Let's go.
So you're going to Vegas.
Yeah.
Are you going to drink?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I thought like after our festivities with my brothers, like I think you had a slew of like 4 months of bachelor parties and you were like, I'm done.
Oh my gosh, dude, 2019 bachelor party run. It was 4 in a month. It was a lot, man. It was a lot. I took a break.
I felt for you.
I took a break. And again, like I said, I haven't been to Vegas in 4.5 years. So I was supposed to go last year and it didn't happen because of the pandemic. Like literally the day before we're supposed to fly, like they're like, oh, all flights are canceled. And it was for the NCAA tournament. I was so excited. I was going to go watch it with all my friends and it just didn't happen. And since then, obviously, I don't want to go to Vegas if it's not fully open. Like I don't want to half experience, so finally I think it's open. So I'm really excited. We're going for my buddy Michael's 29th birthday. It's his golden birthday. So 29 on 29, which will be a lot of fun. And if anybody who's listening to the pod knows Michael, he knows how to party in Vegas. So we're in for a time. We're in for a treat, but I'm not going to miss the Suns game.
You better get that bottle service ready.
I'm going to have the bottle service and I'm going to be in full Suns uniform for game 4. I will have my Valley jersey, my Valley shorts. I got the Phoenix socks the socks on. I'll have my headband. I'll throw on the Kobe's if I have to, whatever. If they need me, I'm there. I'm a flight away. I'll be there, man. I'm good. I just gave my pickup game 7 points. So I could give the Suns 7 fouls. That's 6 fouls and a technical for those who are like, what's 7 fouls? I'm ahead of you. Don't worry, listeners.
Yeah, don't even come at me. All right. So I got something for us to end on a 24 shot clock for you.
Okay.
All right.
I got one for you too. So,
but before we do, bring your damn mic. Bring it.
I'll think about it. That means I got to take a computer. So
Yeah, no, bring it. The people want a pod. All right, you don't get any vacay from this.
We'll see. All right, no promises, but no, I won't say no to it either.
All right, so I'm gonna take an enmeshment of the Suns, and I'm gonna take an enmeshment of Vegas. Okay. What we think about, aside from gambling, you think about drinks. So 24-second shot clock is, who is the cocktail equivalent to book?
The cocktail equivalent to book.
Ready, go.
Oh, that's 20. So hard. I think it's a Red Bull vodka. Tell
me why.
Okay, 15. So it's a Red Bull vodka because when you need that spark, you just take that, you chug 10. It, right? And that's your points. If you want to sip on it and get that going throughout your day, you got it. The energy's there. The vodka's there. Low calories. Very efficient on drinking. So.
Oh, there's your timer.
Oh man. That was good. That was a tough one.
Yeah, I'm coming for you.
So Dez, as we wrap up and as I go to Vegas, two things. Do you have a drink of choice that you like when you go to Vegas? And two, how do you feel just personally about betting on your own team? A lot of people are yay and a lot of people are nay. So
I have a ritual when I go to Vegas. So I will usually give myself a nice shot of tequila, and I will go put 100 on black at the roulette table. If I win, that tells me that I'm going to gamble that weekend, right? If I lose, then I don't gamble. Like, wow. All right, there's the 100 that I just donated to you, Las Vegas. You're welcome. Hey, but if it comes back to me, then it's like I got the green light for later to see if I can put this on a heater. So that's usually where I'm at.
That's awesome, man. Me and my buddies, we like to get in early and get just a 3-card poker game in. You know what plays it. We go in there like 10, 11 o'clock. We see how it goes, and that usually dictates the rest of the trip. But for this time, maybe we'll play some craps. We're definitely going to take over a blackjack table. So if you're in Vegas this weekend or any of our friends, hit me up, man, on any of the socials. Let's link up. Let's maybe watch some Suns together or something like that. But with that said, we are wrapping up episode 4. We are just chugging through these things, and I'm so happy about it. It's been a lot of fun. Again, follow us at Dez N Cy Pod on Instagram. If you want to listen on Spotify, we got it there. If you don't know where to listen to us, just pull up anchor.fm/Dez N Cy Pod. You can listen through Anchor. And if you are more of a visual person, well, we got some stuff on YouTube. So check out our YouTube as well. We're going to bring back the row rapping segments next week. So be tuned. We'll probably have some previews for that. And if you have feedback for us, if you want us to talk about something, let us know, man. Hit us in the comments. Like and subscribe as always. All that BS that people be saying to get some more followership.
And let me leave you with this. Ride or die, Caesar salad.
Hey, I know what the record says, but it's still Suns in 4.
It's still.
Okay, Suns in 4.
Later.
Take care, y'all.